Will fares also increase sooner rather than later? Let's find out now from Maria Kristina Cassion from the LTFRB. Thank you po for joining us on The Final Word. Ang tanong po ngayon, will the LTFRB grant the request of transport groups to raise jeepney fares po by as much as 14 to 15 pesos?
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Earlier, we conducted a hearing on the petition of various transport groups on the petition for fare hike. Of course, the LTFRB, particularly its board, has to make a balancing, perform a balancing of interest na scrutiny po, because we really have to analyze carefully, scrutinize all aspects, especially the inflationary impact it will have on the economy, its effects on the commuters, and the expected domino effect on the price of goods and services. Of course, on the one hand, we know that the operators and drivers are really very hard up right now because of the series of oil price increases. On the one hand, at least meron naman pong fallback, no, because of the basket of solutions being offered by the government. For one, there is the fuel subsidy, which has been expanded not only for the PUJ but other modes also, including tricycles and deliveries, which is set to be distributed within March. And the economic cluster is also recommending or proposing another 5 billion fuel subsidy by April. Meron din po tayong service contracting program in which we will be offering libreng sakay, no, for the commuters, and the government will be paying the PUV operators and drivers. On the one hand, there is the commuters, in which the burden will really be passed on to the commuters. What will happen to the commuters? The take-home pay will be lessened. What is intended for the basic needs of the family will be lessened. So what will be the effect? Yes. Perhaps they will be asking now for a series for increase in salaries and wages, and of course there is a domino effect also on the price of goods and services. So all of these things are being considered by the LTFRB.
Yes, a lot of factors though to consider before a fare hike is decided on. And as you mentioned, the government announced that it is doubling the subsidy for the transport sector to $5 billion. Gusto pong malaman ng ating mga drivers, no, when the tranches are released in March and April, how many of them, how many drivers and operators are expected to benefit from this? And how much will each of them receive? Kasi may mga promises, no, 5 billion, pero kailangan rin natin malaman how much they will receive.
For the 2.5 billion subsidy from the General Appropriations Act of 2022, around more than 377 beneficiaries are covered in this fuel subsidy program, which will cover PUJ, public utility buses, UV Express, taxi, TNBS, tricycles, and delivery services. We are looking at 6,500 per unit for this program po.
Pero when all is said and done, and you have the subsidies, and the LTFRB deciding on the fare increase, which is being demanded by our public utility drivers, when will the agency hand out its final decision for the fare hikes? Will it be this month po, or do we have to still wait for April?
We still have another round of hearing on March 22. So after that po, the LTFRB will issue its final order on the fate of the petitions for fare hike.
And would you have some sort of idea where the LTFRB will fall in terms of fare hikes? How much would it be, or how many percent an increase it would be?
Actually, I really do not want to preempt the decision of the board, but the provisional increase of 1 peso is already for resolution of the board. So perhaps we will have to wait for the decision of the board on that provisional increase, while the 5 peso and the 6 pesos being asked by the various groups will be heard.
Marami po kasi sa ating mga public utility drivers who are really complaining, no, with the surge in pump prices which began this morning po, no? And
Yes
now
po,
they're
sir.
asking, will all public utility buses and jeepneys be allowed to ply their routes without COVID-19 restrictions, Ms. Cassion?
I would like to ano muna sir no on the sir dun sa sinasabi po nila na very high na po talaga yung yung oil prices. This is why po we have been communicating constantly with the DBM for the release of funds for the service contracting program aside from the fuel subsidy, because under the service contracting program the LTFRB will be subsidizing the operation. So in subsidizing their operation, of course, it will include the yung expenses for the fuel as well as the cost for the drivers.
Yeah.
Yung payment for the drivers po.
But
So
what about po?
perhaps
What about
yes,
po
sir.
allowing public utility buses and jeepneys to ply their full routes? Kailan po mangyayari ito?
Actually, sir, we have already opened the provincial bus routes, touching and not touching Metro Manila po since February pa po. Bukas na po lahat ng ating pampublikong sasakyan po.
Because marami pong nagsasabi sa kanila, there is really no longer any plausible reason for the restriction on routes. Kasi marami rin tayo nakikita mga massive election rally crowds, face-to-face work and classes. At saka na-drop na po ang mga contact tracing requirements.
Yes po. This is why po we have the board has issued the memorandum circular last February po on the opening of provincial bus routes touching and not touching Metro Manila. We have also opened various routes in Metro Manila also, and then we're set to open Commonwealth and non-Commonwealth routes po of around 71 routes po in all in the coming weeks po.
Maraming salamat po for your insights and for sharing the information from the LTFRB, the Executive Director, Maria Kristina Cassion.